Irrigation in this country cannot be just underrated. Irrigation actually helps the farmers even to have more crops within a year than when we are depending on rain-fed. The other reason why irrigation is very important in this country is, as we have seen the climate change, we are no longer having reliable rainfall. Therefore, the government has all the reason to see that irrigation is the in thing for purpose of production in this country. We know that we have got large-scale irrigation schemes in this country like Bura, Hola, but mainly the issue of the smallholder is more important because most of our rural people they are small-scale farmers. And these are the people where we should take the irrigation to, because over 80% of the production is done by the smallholder farmers. And hence, this is why we should emphasize the small-scale irrigation. For this project to be fully implemented within its objective, we have about 4 institutions through which the implementation is done. We have the Project Steering Committee, which is the top organ on policy making as far as the implementation is concerned. We have also the project coordinating unit, where fall in as a project coordinator, and we are about 16 members. Our main issue is to coordinate, facilitate the implementers who are at the district level, and at that level we have the district project coordinating committee, which is a committee which is composed of various ministries. And they are the main implementers, the supervisors of all the works going on. And down at the farmers level, we have the Irrigation Waters Users Association. These are the beneficiaries. And actually, this is a very important institution because they are the ones who are going to sustain, or this is the main core of the sustainability of this project. We are hoping to reach about 6,500 farmers, covering about 3,000 hectares in those 9 schemes.
Small-scale horticulture development project is a project that is executed by the Ministry of Agriculture and is funded by Africa Development Bank together with the Republic of Kenya. We have 5 projects in Rift Valley and 4 projects in eastern provinces. In eastern province, we have Bokoni Irrigation Scheme. We also have Kathika Kasheru, which is in Bere North. We have Kaba, which is in Mwala district, and Kauti, which is in Kathiani district. In Rift Valley, we have Kapanon Kapkamak Irrigation Scheme, which is in Marakwet West. We also have Larwendani, which is in Subukia district. We have Mosiro Irrigation Scheme, which is in Narok North. We have Ngurumani Irrigation Scheme, which is also one of the largest schemes in Kajiado North, and the Namalok Irrigation Scheme in Loitoktok district. These irrigation schemes are expected to add the area under irrigation by 2,886 hectares.
Kauti Irrigation Scheme was started in 1973 using unlined canals and furrows. In 1987, when the Moni Dam was constructed, the irrigation well and its intake died. Moni Dam was meant to supply water for irrigation and domestic use. However, only domestic water supply lines were provided.
Maji ilikuwa inaenda na mitaro hii ya mchanga na ilikuwa inapotea sana. Na sita hii maji ilikuwa kidogo. Damu tulikuwa na Muoni Dam na iko na maji kidogo. Imewekwa matope na imejaa. Sasa hiyo dam ikitolewa hiyo matobe, tutakuwa na maji ya kutosha ya kuweka hii katikati ya mitaro, iwe tunatoseka na maji. Wakiweka pipes, maji haitakuwa ikipotea ikienda pahali tulikuwa tunataka kwenda kwa shamba, itakuwa ikienda tu straight, haitakuwa ikipotea huko kwa mchanga, itakuwa tu inaenda na itakuwa inaenda haraka.
Farmers in Kauti have since been using crude water abstraction methods to get water for irrigation from the Humanthe River. The Small-Scale Horticulture Development Project, SHDP, is currently converting canals to conveyance pipeline in order to reduce massive water losses through seepage and evaporation. On-farm water management as well as better agronomic practices and crop diversification are being promoted by the project. Through rehabilitation of the infrastructure at a cost of over 12 million Kenya shillings, it is expected that the area under irrigation will be increased from 25 to 71.6 hectares. 179 farmers are to be served by the system, while over 4,000 households will benefit directly or indirectly. The infrastructure being rehabilitated include conveyance pipe from Mwoni Dam intake to serve Musengoni and Budhini blocks on the slopes of Iveti Hills. Where an intake down Mwoni Dam on Humanthe River to serve Kasuuni and Vinya Wanzou through a network of pipes totaling 2 kilometers in length. Construction of chambers, installation of water meters and other pipe fittings. Under the farmer support component of the project, the groups are being trained on income-generating activities as well as improved horticultural production, both for local and the export markets. Demonstrations have also been conducted on various technologies and appropriate practice.
Hii falo inaendelea na kutufaidi kwa kutuletea maji, kwa kuwa hapo mbeleni tulikuwa tunataabika kwa kukosa maji na tulikuwa tukinyunyizia maji kidogo sana, na kama tunaweza pata maji ya kutosha, hii mandishi mashamba yetu itakuwa tutapanda kitu ambacho kitatuletea pesa mingi.
Contract farming is also being carried out with French beans and Asian vegetables for export being grown. The Kabah Irrigation Scheme is located in Kabah Sublocation, Mwala Division in Machakos County. It is located 62 kilometers from Machakos town. The Small-Scale Horticulture Development Project, SHDP, started working on the Kabah Irrigation Scheme in November of 2010. And has since lined 5,080 meters of canal, constructed several offtake points, road crossings and footpaths, as well as many flumes on gully crossings. 2 kilometers of underground pipelines have also been installed, making the total length of the canal to be 7,080 meters. The canal and pipelines will serve 225 registered members who are irrigating a total of 240 hectares. Construction in the scheme ended in August of 2011, making Kabar Irrigation Scheme the first successful irrigation scheme by SHDP.
The rehabilitation started in October 2010, and it was to last 8 months, and the contractor was quite good, and it ended in schedule. And the quality of the work done with the involvement of the Water User Association was very good. Prior to the rehabilitation, 186 hectares were under irrigation, and our target hectareage is 240 hectares. We are nearly meeting the target, and I'm sure with the efficient water use management and proper operations and maintenance of the canal, we'll be able to even go beyond the target. The farmers are very anxious to get ahead with the production, and the effort they have done in opening up new land and coming up with new crops is quite good. For crop production purposes, we've introduced exporters. So far we have 4 exporters. We have Sako Fresh, Aldi Farm, Sabine, and Hortifresh. They are now going into contract farming with farmers, and currently farmers are enjoying very good prices, especially for French beans. We are calculating at around 76 million to be earned by farmers within the next 2 seasons. The irrigation seasons, not the rainy seasons. So it's a worthwhile project, and now our main focus is training the farmers on sustainability and also quality control.
Under farmer support, income-generating activities by several farmer groups are being supported. Key stakeholders include Kenya Agricultural Research Institute, KARI, Horticultural Crops Development Authority, HCDA, Ministries of Cooperatives, Water and Irrigation, as well as commercial banks. Contract farming for export crops is also being done here for crops such as French beans and chilies. The idea of irrigation by Bongoni farmers began in 1997, but it was not until 2005 that the funding for the Bongoni irrigation scheme was done by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. Funding for the construction of the irrigation infrastructure was done by the Ministry of Agriculture through SHDP. Construction of the irrigation infrastructure started in February 2011 and will entail the following: construction of the water intake and weir at River Ruguti, laying of a conveyance pipeline and associate infrastructure 5.2 kilometers long, establishment of a 12-kilometer main line, construction of lateral canal networking totaling to 34 kilometers. This scheme will serve 500 farmers and put 100 hectares of land under irrigation.
The overall goal of the project is poverty reduction and income generation to our farmers. We realize with irrigation water, we can be able to boost production both even in 2 seasons in a year. Apart from rain-fed agriculture, we are promoting irrigated agriculture. From Bongoni irrigation scheme, we are targeting 500 households with 100 hectares of land to be covered. The works are in progress. The contractor, Irrigation International, is on site. We are working on the intake right now on the sedimentation basin. We have strong institutions in place. We have the district project coordinating committee that is in place, that is coordinating the issues of implementation of the activities of SHDP at the scheme. We have also a registered irrigation water users association that has already now been registered with the Attorney General chambers that will be able to manage the water once it reaches the scheme. At the end of the day, we want to see our small-scale farmers at the irrigation scheme having an extra coin in their pocket. And that will only be generated with efficient use of the water.
Training and capacity building on horticultural crops production, water management, and gender conflict resolution are ongoing under the farmer support component. Groups are also being supported in several income-generating activities. Mosiro Irrigation Scheme was started in 1993 on 45 hectares of land irrigated using a pump-fed irrigation system. To improve this scheme, Small-Scale Horticulture Development Project is constructing a gravity system which is to serve over 500 farmers and irrigate 300 hectares of land. There was no access road to the Mosiro scheme. So, SHDP started by rehabilitating 18 kilometers of road and constructed a culvert and a bridge. This has opened up the area and the benefits are enormous.
Hii maji ya hii mto imetuharibia mambo mengi. Kwa ajili kwa upande ya barabara inatutatisa sana. Hata kuna wakati ingine mvua, wakati ya mvua kuna wakati ingine inaharibu barabara, magari haitafikisha mzigo yoyote kwa ile senda iko juu kwa ajili ya hii maji. Hata ng'ombe zinabeba mifugo wakati hatukuwa na hiyo daraja.
Completion of this scheme will definitely transform Mosiro into a vibrant and economically viable irrigation project.
Kaba scheme is our first scheme to be completed, and we are marking a very momentous time that we have completed Kaba very successfully. It was completed within the contract period, and the farmers were very supportive, and this one has given us a lot of motivation, seeing that already we have a scheme where the water is running. So we are hopeful that the other 8 shall be for the same.
The Kaba Irrigation Scheme was officially commissioned by His Excellency the Vice President of Kenya, Dr. Kalonzo Musyoka, on the 19th of November 2011. After a briefing from the SHDP project coordinator, His Excellency took a tour of the scheme. There were exhibitors, plenty of entertainment,
maji yanahitajika, si mashariki, si magharibi, na popote duniani. Kwa kweli yaniasiwe zangu, maji ndio maisha.
and then came the speakers.
So on behalf of the African Development Bank Group, I'm pleased to address you on this important occasion of commissioning the Kabai Irrigation Scheme under the Small Horticulture Development Project. Honorable Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, the Small-Scale Horticulture Development Project is jointly funded by the African Development Bank Group and the Government of Kenya at a total amount of 3 billion Kenya shillings, with the bank providing a loan amount of 2.65 billion shillings and the Government of Kenya providing the balance, which is about 400 million shillings. Today, Your Excellency, is an important day for the project because it's giving us an opportunity to interact with the beneficiaries who are standing in front of us, and we have seen them today. And this is to demonstrate that we are committed to achieve the objectives of this project, which are to increase the household incomes of our small-scale horticulture farmers in this project area through increased production of horticultural products and enhanced marketing. In doing so, we shall of course be contributing to the ultimate goal of reducing poverty and improving the livelihoods of our rural populations in Kenya. With the commissioning of this scheme today, Your Excellency, the project is demonstrating that it can deliver on the remaining 8 small-scale irrigation schemes for the beneficiary, to the beneficiaries in the remaining project period. Honorable Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, with these few remarks, let me thank you most sincerely for kindly agreeing to preside this commissioning of the Kabai Irrigation Scheme of the Small-Scale Horticulture Development Project, and wish you a good day. Thank you very much.
The role of irrigation in agriculture cannot be overemphasized. The country has a vast potential for irrigation with an estimate of 1.3 million hectares, which 540 hectares can be developed using the available water. The rest can be done using water harvesting. Currently, 114,600 hectares are under irrigation, of which 49,000 hectares are under smallholders. The government has committed approximately 10 billion for water harvesting and irrigation development under the expanded National Irrigation Program. The program seeks to build upon the successes of the irrigation gains of the Economic Stimulus Program. The provision of water alone, however, is not assurance of maximum production, but it should be coupled with other technical packages in terms of seed quality, use of fertilizer, proper marketing linkages, other agricultural practices. In conclusion, I wish to reaffirm the Ministry's commitment to food security through enhanced smallholder irrigation, improvement of rural community livelihood, which shall be able to meet the global targets. I cannot forget to emphasize on the role of multisectoral participation in agricultural development and the involvement of private sector. This will go a long way in enabling our country realize the Vision 2030.
Nataka tuchukue nafasi hii tumkaribishe makamu wa rais ili aongee na sisi na atufungulie mradi wetu.
Vision yangu, maono yangu ni kwamba njaa hii ambayo imekuwa kali sana mwaka huu itakuwa ndio ya mwisho ya kutuumiza hasa watu kutoka Lower Eastern Province. Kwa sababu tumeamua sasa kwamba tutajilisha. Mungu akitupatia mvua tunasema haleluya. Kama mvua haitoshi tunalima na tukitumia vile ambavyo tumekuja kuanzisha hapa leo. To transform Kenya as envisaged in the vision into a middle income country within the next few years calls for an invigorated, revamped, indeed fired up, revolutionary shift in our approach to agriculture. Kenya's economy is essentially agrarian based, and to demonstrate the seriousness with which the government takes this sector, revenue allocation to agriculture stands at 11% of our national budget. This figure is worth noting, as it does actually surpass the 10% allocation level in terms of what happened in Maputo, I believe in 2003, which is referred to as the Maputo Declaration. These funds will go towards financing initiatives aimed at boosting food security, such as development of irrigated agriculture and commercialization of agricultural production. Now, given the potential for irrigation identified in the 9 project districts, project will no doubt contribute to the strengthening of Kenya's economic development. This objective will be achieved mainly through enhancing agricultural production. Key components of the project include improvement of market linkages and value addition of agriculture, channeled primarily through farmers' groups. I now must conclude by thanking the people of Mwala and our development partners, specifically the African Development Bank and partner organizations that have worked with the government in this noble assignment. I also commend the area member of parliament and the role played by the community leaders towards the successful rehabilitation of the scheme. It is now my pleasure to declare the Kabah irrigation scheme within Mwala district officially commissioned. I thank you and may God bless you.
We are in it together with our contractors, our permanent secretaries, and the whole of the ministry and other stakeholders to ensure that all the other 8 schemes are completed as much as the way we have achieved Kabah scheme.